That's Dr. YaYa.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I sincerely hope I can be heard. How you doing, bro? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. So, you know how we do. You know how we get started. It's me. It's your good Judy. It's your girlfriend. It's your auntie. It's your big sis. It's your favorite cousin with all of the wisdom. Okay, whatever you decide that you want to call me, that's who I'm going to be to you on tonight. And because I love you so much, we're going to go ahead and get these commercials out of the way. You know, you can contact me at www.askdryaya.com, right? That's where I can be reached. I want you to like this video. I want you to share this video. I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel because I would certainly appreciate it. I really would. It'd be a great thing for you and all of that good stuff. And you know what I do. I give you 30 minutes of practical wisdom and common sense. Why? Because it is what I do. So tonight is going to be a little different tonight. This is going to be a potpourri of things because apparently some things have been taking place across these social media worlds, and people want me to talk about it. They want to hear my opinion about it. They want to see what's going on in my area of thinking. What would Dr. YaYa do? I guess, in other words, maybe. So this is going to be quite interesting tonight because I guess some of these things will be considered a bit controversial in regard to what's been, I guess, going viral in situations of that sort. How people are viewing relationships and things like that. And it's not anything that I normally do. But tonight I've received, according to Raquel, shout out to Raquel. According to Raquel, I've been receiving a lot of emails saying, Dr. YaYa, what do you think about this situation? And Dr. YaYa, what do you think about that situation? So on this Friday, on this Good Friday, right now, we're going to discuss it. We are going to discuss what I think about certain things that have gone viral or certain things that people feel need to be discussed on a different level. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do all of that tonight. We'll probably go over 30 minutes. I'm not sure though, because I'm a stickler about time. You guys know that. I'm a stickler about this time. So we're going to get right into it. And apparently, some things have been happening, like I said, in the social media world, whether it be on Facebook or these Twitterations and all of this other good stuff. And people have gone viral with their opinions, and especially as it pertains to our community, especially as it pertains to the Black community, about how Black men deal with Black women and vice versa. So I guess that's getting a lot of attention, as it were. I just want to say shout out to the people who are, making this thing what it is. They're having this discussion, whether it's a healthy discussion that they're having or not, I don't know, but they're having this discussion. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, and then I want you guys to kind of chime in, if you will, and because I would love to know what your opinions are as it pertains to this. Apparently, there's a video on Twitter that have been circulating about a young woman going on a date with a man. And before this date, she said, well, can you take me to McDonald's to pick up something to eat for my daughter before we go out on this date? Okay. So he says, no problem. And they get in the car and he takes her to McDonald's and she orders the stuff, and she is waiting, I guess, for him to pay. And he didn't. He's looking at her like, okay, well, where's the money? So she got upset about that. She said, right then I knew that we were not going to be sleeping together. That he would, what she didn't say it as nice as I'm saying it because I'm dignified and I'm a scholar. But yeah. So he won't be getting this coochie if he couldn't pay for that little Happy Meal thing, that for my daughter. Right? So the question, I guess, is, should a man pay for his date's child to eat? Wow, that's a very interesting question. A lot of the women in the video, because I guess she was on a podcast discussing this, a lot of women in the video stated that the guy was absolutely wrong and he should have paid. If it was $6, he should have paid for that woman's daughter to have a meal. I strongly disagree. I can't even begin to tell you how strongly I disagree. I strongly disagree. And I'm going to tell you why, because I know you want to hear why. Well, first of all, if you know that you're going on a date, you should have fed your daughter, your child, the one you brought into the world, ahead of time. Why would you wait for your date to show up, pick you up, and say, okay, are you ready to go? Oh, yes, I'm ready to go, but let's make this run to McDonald's. That means you're not ready to go. That's what that means. You're not ready to go. So, one, it's your responsibility to feed your child before the date. Right? Okay. The second thing is this. This is a first date. I heard a lot of the women saying, well, this was a first date. He should have been trying to impress her. Why? He's past impressing her once she agreed to go out with him. What do you mean? Where do we get that from? Like, this guy is supposed to impress her on this date, on this first date, and really show her and just go it and blow through the roof and all. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make sense anywhere. And I think, women, we got to stop looking at Cinderella and Snow White and all these crazy type fairy tales, because that's just messing your mind up. That's not how that's supposed to work. The mere fact that he asked you, hey, you want to go out to dinner, or you want to go out to a movie, you want to go out dancing, you were already impressed by him enough to say, yeah, I'd like to go and spend some time with you. Okay, so he already impressed you. Because, see, I don't go out to dinner with men that I'm not interested in. That's not something that I do. I don't go out if I'm not interested. Hugs, money, how you doing? It's good to see you. If I am not interested in you, I'm not going out to dinner with you. Why? Because I don't want to give you the impression that we're going to keep doing this, and this may lead to this king size bed. That's not going to happen. Right? So let's get out of the mind that, oh, that first date, he really has to impress her. Absolutely not. What is she going to do to impress him? Answer that question. What is she going to do? So now she's berating this man, saying, well, it was what, $5-6 at most. It was only a little Happy Meal. It doesn't matter. You asked him to take you to McDonald's to feed your daughter. That's what you said, right? You said, look, take me to McDonald's real quick. I got to pick up something to feed my daughter. He was kind enough to say he would take you over there. He did not say that he was going to pay. Why is it an assumption that he is going to pay $6 or however much it is for your daughter's food when you could have fed your daughter a whole hour ahead of time before your date got there? That's what that right there. While I was watching this video, I said, what in the hell? Is she dragging this man over $6? It would have been different if she would have said, can you take me to McDonald's? Can you loan me $6? Because I really need to feed my daughter. That's totally different from saying, run me over to the McDonald's so I can pick some, so I So is anybody paying attention out there? So I can pick up something for my daughter so I can feed her. That's totally different. You did not ask this man ahead of time if he should be paying. But just based on the fact that you're in the car and you're a female and he's taking you out on a date, he's automatically supposed to feed your daughter too. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Where do we get that mindset from? And ladies, if you're listening, if you don't agree with me, I want you to tell me why. I want you to tell me why you don't agree with what I'm saying. And she just dragged this man and said, oh, I knew right then he wasn't going to get any of this coochie. Well, I didn't know that people were still having meals for sex. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. But I mean, if you put yourself out there, how you doing, Jay Monroe? It's good to see you. If you put yourself out there, that's on you. So she'd already stated just from saying that, well, he didn't want to pay, that little bit of money for my daughter. I knew he wasn't getting the coochie. So I guess he had a chance of getting coochie if he would have just taken you to the steakhouse. I mean, that's kind of a cheap date. But again, that's just me. That's just me. I think it was certainly wrong for her to drag this man because he did not pay for her daughter's meal. It wasn't his obligation. You should have fed your daughter before he got there. See, I don't like these little games that certain women play when it comes to men, because then it makes every other woman look bad or look a certain way. Then men have to go in thinking, oh man, do I have to kind of, I don't know what I'm walking into, or do I have to kind of shift or something? What do I need to do? And it shouldn't be like that. I don't like when you spring something on somebody. It's sort of like going out to dinner and someone says, okay, yeah, I want to take you out to dinner. And I say, okay, let's go. And then we have a nice dinner. We laugh. And then the next thing he says is, oh, you know what? I forgot my wallet. Negro, you knew you didn't have your wallet when we were driving here to the restaurant. Don't play games. Don't play games. And so it's the same thing with her. You knew that it was going to be that your daughter was going to have to be fed because you were going on this date. So she was absolutely wrong in her level of expectation, expecting him to pay for her daughter's McDonald's. That's trashy. That's garbage, basura. That's trash. Terrible thing to do to someone, and you're going on a first date. That's not appropriate behavior at all. Okay, this next thing that they want me to discuss. I guess everyone has heard of the image consultant Kevin Samuels. And Kevin Samuels is an image consultant. He has a YouTube channel. I believe he's on Instagram and Facebook, and he's just a social media giant. And he's really just blowing up because people call into his show, and mainly women who call into his show, and he allows them to ask him questions and to even present their argument as to why they think he's wrong, right? Look, wait a minute. We're going to go back to the feeding humans McDonald's anyways. I certainly agree. No child should be eating McDonald's. I certainly agree with that. And that's a very good question. Did she expect him to pay for childcare too? Probably. Jay Monroe, a lot of women do that. A man will say, you want to go out on a date? Well, if you take me out, you got to pay for my childcare. What? What do you mean? I'm good. And then when the man says I'm good, it's, oh, well, he ain't ish anyway. Utterly ridiculous. Just some crazy type thinking. Who raised these people, right? Who raised these people? So, continuing about Kevin Samuels. So, like I said, big media guy and things like that. So, apparently, a video of him went viral when he was speaking to a young lady. And speaking to this young lady, he said she was average at best. And this thing with Kevin Samuels is that he talks about how to get a high value man, a man with substance, and what you have to do to get that man, and what these men look for. How are you doing? It's good to see you. You know, what these men look for, and things like that. So in this video, and I watched it, the woman comes on the show. She says she's looking for a guy with a 6-figure income. And of course, because he's an image consultant, he always asks that turn your cam on. And I can understand that. I mean, he's an image consultant, and he has to see your image, right? And so she comes on, and this was not even a night that he was having this particular topic, but he said, okay, he's going to let her come on and talk and say what she needs to say. And so she said, I want this high value man. I make 6 figures. I want a man that makes 6 figures. And so he first asked her, well, how do you rate yourself? And that's a question, a very good question. And she said, I'm a 5 when I wake up. Then I am a 6 with makeup. Okay? I'm a 6 with makeup. And so they're having this conversation, and she's steady talking about, what my body is nice and things like that. So Kevin Samuels was trying to tell her, well, listen, you have some things that you need to work on. And she was not listening. She said, I hear you, but he said, but you don't want to accept what I'm saying. She said, I do, but he said, ma'am, just forget about it. And at that point, I can understand the frustration. I can understand the frustration. He said, look, you're average at best. Okay? You're average at best. Everybody got up in arms about him saying you're average at best. I mean, oh my goodness. What do you mean? What do you mean? She's average at best. You don't say that. You don't have to say that to her. You were so mean. Why are you hurting her feelings? First of all, he's an image consultant, right? That's what he is judging things on, based on your image. And then this is the other thing that people don't get. He asked her. She said she was average. On a scale from 1 to 10, 5 is damn average. What do you mean? He said, how do you rate yourself? She said 5. Is that not damn average? Did we not go to school for this? She said, I am a 5, right? She rated herself average. So, and you say, he's no looker himself, but that doesn't matter. It wasn't about him. It was about her. She went on his show and said, I'm a 5. Point blank, period. She said, I'm a 5. With makeup, I'm 6. So if you rate yourself, and he says, yes, she rated herself average. If you rate yourself average, and I come back and say, okay, well, you're average at best, because he took an account, makeup, and she's the one who said, without makeup, I'm this, and with makeup, I'm that. So all these women came out of the woodworks. Oh my gosh, he was so mean. Oh my goodness, he was, he was so mean. He was so mean. Why would he say that to her? That wasn't a nice thing to say. But she asked for that. Let me tell you something. Don't ask questions of people and you don't want their answer. Where do we do that? Since when have we been so eager for acceptance that when we don't get what we want to make an issue out of it? That's just like if somebody calls into my show and they say, Dr. YaYa, okay? Dr. YaYa, listen, I'm coming on your show because I have high anxiety. I'm anxious about everything. You know, I mean, if I hear a rat piss on cotton, I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. And then I turn around and say, so you're extremely fearful. Well, Dr. YaYa, why did you say that person was extremely fearful? Because hell, they said it. What do you mean? I'm just going by your assessment of yourself. So how do we get angry? How do we get angry about someone repeating to you what you've said about yourself? Have we become that type of people? I mean, let's talk about it. Have we become that type of people that, hey, I'm a 5. And they say, okay, well, YaYa, you being average. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you called me average. Well, on a scale from 1 to damn 10, 5 is average. We can't do that. If you don't want to know the truth, and if you don't want to hear back the truth about what you said about yourself, stop asking people those questions. Stop doing that. Oh, okay. Oh, how you doing, Chris? It's good to see you. Let me see. So, what if a guy who makes less than her ends up using her or taking advantage of her? Also, what if he ends up resenting her because she's the breadwinner? Well, that comes into play how she goes about choosing a person. See, if she chooses a person like that, then that decision that she made means that she has to do some inner work about how she's making her decisions. Because I would think before you get into a relationship, you say, okay, this is what I bring to the table at my level of expectancy. And then that person can say, okay, this is what I bring to the table at my level of expectancy. Okay, that's how that happens. And understand, there's no guarantee in any relationship, because relationships you have to build upon. There's no guarantee that you're going to get Prince Charming in your knight in shining armor. That's not a guarantee. That's why you work on relationships. It's good to see you, Chris. It's good to see you. Yoda says, well, I'm ugly because I was born ugly, but I have confidence in my ugliness. If you say so, see, that's it. If you say so. So if I call you ugly, then you can't get mad at me because you already said that you were ugly, right? So if I say that, you can't say, I can't believe she called me ugly. Oh my gosh. So that's pretty much the same thing. We really can't get upset with people when they say the same things that we've said about ourselves. And I am going, but I don't talk to people like that. I build people. I don't tear them down. Yes, she does. Yes, she does, James. J. Monroe says she needs to ask Dr. YaYa's 5 questions. Absolutely. Absolutely. I certainly agree with that. Certainly needs to ask that. That is so real. And so I was not angry with looking at it in its entirety, because I understand that people are like cattle. People are like sheep. I understand the mentality that if one person gets mad, then I'm going to get mad because I want to be accepted within that clique in group 2. But to be a critical thinker, you have to look at all of it. You have to look at all of it. And so someone else said about his delivery as well. He's a man. Why does he have to sugarcoat anything for grown ass women? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Let me tell you something. If you're wounded and you're damaged, You're wounded and you're damaged. People don't have to walk on eggshells because of that. That's something that you have to recognize and not take everything so personal. And I say this because, listen, okay, if we're just going to be real, oh boy. Okay. He did not disrespect her. His delivery is not disrespectful. Okay. When he kept telling her, wait a minute, hold that thought for a minute. Okay, hold that thought. I'm gonna take this this little break for a moment. Give me 10 seconds. All right. So I'm back. Okay. So listen, when it comes to delivery, let's really talk about this. He did state this. He did say, ma'am, don't make me do this. She kept trying to overtalk him. He said, ma'am, and he was saying, ma'am. He was saying, well, no, and you don't understand. And then, sometimes women want it their way. Women wanted sugar and spice and everything nice. And, if you tell me that I'm no good, I want you to kind of whisper it. I want you to tell me, it's a certain way I need to hear it. What? Are we serious? I can always tell when people have had certain people in their lives growing up. I can always tell. I can always tell. Men's tones are not the same as women's tones, period. Not the same. You come on my show, right? And you ask me all types of questions and I tell you, and then you get angry and you keep saying, but YaYa, no, but YaYa. Now, wait a minute. That's not what I'm saying. But because you want me to tell you something different. And I say, well, damn it. You know what? I don't have to take this. Just do whatever. Okay. Jump off the nearest bridge if you want to, right? I can't believe she said that. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you would say that to me. But in the beginning, I had been trying to do so much for you. And so in my frustration, now it's my fault. Everything can't be my fault. It takes two people to have a conversation. But again, we don't have to agree. This is just my take. So Yodit says, look, it wasn't very tactful. His delivery speaks of who he is. It's a matter of respect. He called her a broad from what I heard. He called her a broad. Okay. So, I mean, he didn't say anything disrespectful. Just because someone raises their voice doesn't mean that they're that they're showing a lack of respect. Now getting to this, what I was going to say. Wow. And we are going to be going over 30 minutes. And I'm going to say this, you guys, I'm going to be out. Just like there aren't enough rich, wealthy men to pull from for women, it's not enough because you have to compete for those men. I certainly agree with that. But also understand that there aren't enough beautiful Black women. I know somebody's going to be mad. Either when it comes to what men deem that they want for themselves. There are not a lot of 10s in our community as far as beautiful women. There are not a lot of 10s in our community as far as wealthy, rich men. So we have to be real. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, look, if you're average, there's nothing wrong with you finding an average guy, because that's the one that's going to be attracted to you. That's the one that's going to meet you where you are. There's nothing wrong with saying that. The issue is not in the person saying it. The issue is in the other person accepting it. People don't want to accept that sort of thing. They don't want to hear that. They want to talk about these other things, and they want to put the blame on each other. I blame you. So here he comes. He says, look, take off the eyelashes, take off the hair, take off the makeup. Let me see how you really look. I can't believe you said that to me. What has that got to do with what's going on the inside? But you say to him, let me see your pay stub. Let me see what stocks you have. Let me see what kind of car you drive. Will I be able to get the house that I want? And he's like, what does that have to do with what I can provide you with? So I think there's a level of expectation that people have. And it's not lowering your standard. It's just seeing where you are. You have to know where you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we don't want to do that in our community. Other communities, they do that. Most other cultures understand that. They get with people who are somewhat on their level. They make sacrifices. But we're willing in our community to become bitter people. Bitter people before you say, okay, look, I am going to get someone who fits me. Okay, I know he's 5'9", 5'10", and I wanted him to be 6'2", right? But that's what we want. We can't think like that if we want our community to thrive, if we want to be able to communicate with each other, if we want to be able to respect each other. Because outside of that, you like he said, you're gonna die alone if you're not willing to accept the fact that the guy you want is not going to be 6'2". He's not going to be 6'2". Okay, the woman that you want is not going to may not have her hair, down to her waist. Her hair may not grow that long. You have to accept that. And so if we're not willing to accept that, if we're not willing to say, listen, let me meet you where you are, I can do that for you. But we want to reach past some things because, somewhere along the way, you've been listening to all of these relationship gurus and all of these experts who say, girl, you got it. You got this black girl magic and you can have any man that you want to have. And then the guys hear things like, okay, well, you can have any woman that you pretty much, want to have, despite that you're working at Burger King, right? Instead of saying, look, you can have the woman that you can afford on your Burger King salary. And then telling her, look, you can have the man that will accept you based on where you are. But we don't want to hear that. That's not what we want to hear, because we're too busy looking at people on social media. We're looking at Facebook pictures and IG pictures and whatever you're watching on your TV screen. And well, she can do that, I can do it too. If she can get that man, I can get one like that too. No, you can't. No, you can't. Sit down and do a self-evaluation. And that's what I say. Women would not be so angry if they did a self-evaluation before they start asking men questions about how they look. You can't get mad at a man if you present yourself and you got your hair, you got your yaki, you got that, your 27 inches and whatever y'all doing, okay, and your eyelashes and everything, your lip gloss is popping, and you go to him and say, baby, how I look? And he says, I don't know. Take all of that off, right? Take all of that off and let me see. And then you get upset with him, right? Now you mad. What you mean? Why is that important? Y'all always worrying about what women got in their hair. No. The only man that's concerned about what you have in your head is the one who's trying to choose you. That's the only one. And then you're mad at him. He's the only one. He's like, look, I just want to see how you look without it. Can I see how you look? And instead of telling him and being real, because I deal with, let's be real. Let's talk about where we are. Let's validate some feelings. Okay? Let's validate these feelings. So instead of saying, you know what, babe, I don't really feel comfortable without my weave or my eyelashes, but I'm going to try to reach past that and allow you to see me without it. But we don't want to say that. You want to be combative. Right? You want to be combative because you don't want to show your vulnerable side to say that you really don't feel comfortable without it. Hey, how you doing, Alfred? Yes, I go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Cosmic Energy said a man divorced and sued a woman because she didn't look good without her makeup. Misrepresentation. I heard about something like that. And I heard recently that a guy broke up with his girlfriend after the next morning when he saw her without makeup. Yes. And that works both ways when it comes to representation. You don't want a guy pulling up and taking you out in that nice Rolls Royce, and you guys are driving around, and and he's like, yes, and he's treating you really well, and you thinking that everything is going great. Oh my goodness, look at him. I think this will work out fine because I know he can provide. And then later on you find out, oh, I just did that for our first date, honey. I don't even have a car. I got to catch public transportation everywhere that I go. You're going to be pissed. You're going to be upset. You're going to take to social media and you're going to say, do you know this no good so-and-so and so-and-so, right, did this. He misrepresented himself. But you don't want him to say that same thing to you when he pulls your hair and it comes off in his hand. Then that's a problem. How are we communicating with each other? I'm surprised we really haven't wiped each other out with the way that we communicate and misrepresent and do certain things. I mean, honestly, really. So no, I don't think Kevin was wrong. I don't think his delivery was wrong. I think that if we do a self-evaluation, whether we're men or women, and really be honest with ourselves, then we're able to accept someone else's assessment of who we are and say, okay, am I going to take this and be better and do better? Or am I going to take this and be bitter? Because let me tell you something, you can't be better and bitter at the same time. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're either going to be better or you're going to be bitter. I'm going to need y'all to pick one. Pick one. Because this is confusing us in the community. It is. This is confusing. So it's okay. Oh, I missed that one. Yodit says they lie about going all night and stop out and tap out after 30 minutes. Well, yes, that's an issue too. That's an issue too. See, all of these things are an issue. Why? Because we want to put our best representative forward, and our best representative is misrepresenting us. It's a terrible thing. Lying about how big it is. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Women come in with the lie. You know what? Yes, I'm nice. I'm sweet. I love walks in the park, holding hands. Okay. All of that juicy type stuff. Okay. And then come to find out, oh, it's too cold out here. What we doing at the park? Why is it so late? Well, you said you like walks in the park. Well, I didn't mean today. You know, just all kinds of crap that's going on. All kinds of stuff. Money says y'all should know that no man can go all night long. Okay? You should know that. That should be something that you already know. So I mean, this misrepresentation has to stop. It has to stop. But as I've said before, people will be real with you as long as they don't have to be vulnerable. They can be as real with you as long as they don't have to be vulnerable. As soon as that realness turns into vulnerability, pump your brakes. They're going to stop. Right? If I'm a provider, you should want me to get some rest. I have to go to work in the morning. That's true too. That's true too. I think it's just a matter of honesty. Is anyone willing to be honest though? And I told you guys I was going to be going over my 30 minutes. Is anyone actually willing to be honest in order to have the relationship that they deserve? That is the question. That's the question that I'm going to leave with you. That's the question right there. Is anyone willing to be honest enough with themselves in order to be honest with other people to have the relationship that they deserve? I certainly appreciate you. Remember, it's what I do. I thank you for being here. It was so great to be able to share this time with you. Remember, you are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. So I will see you on the next episode of Ask Dr. YaYa. Love you much. Good night.